This is Mujib from North Country Kettlebells. Today I'm going to talk about the Kettlebell Floor Press and some of the components that go into doing safe and effective kettlebell floor presses. Now, the Kettlebell Floor Press is a great full body engagement exercise that has a very easy range of motion for the press. To start the Kettlebell Floor Press, I want to think that for safety's sake, I'm always going to roll over to get the kettlebell, and when I finish with that movement, I'm going to roll it back over to put it down. That just keeps the shoulder safe from any heavy weight external rotation, or if I have a shoulder injury or any history of injury with my shoulder, I don't want to necessarily put my shoulder at risk by just letting the kettlebell flop over. It's also going to really train in the muscle memory so that when I finish with my last rep, the kettlebell isn't just getting out of control, but I'm always controlling my whole body as I roll the kettlebell back over into the position of putting it down. As I said, the Kettlebell Floor Press is going to be a great full body engagement exercise, and full body engagement is going to be the first component of doing proper kettlebell floor presses. So once I get that kettlebell in position, I want to think that my arm is going to be down at my hip with my elbow at about a 90-degree angle. I want to imagine that my hand is directly over my elbow with my elbow pressed right up against my torso. So I don't want my arm kicked off to the side. Instead, I want my arm right up against my body. And each time that I press and return, I'm going to come right back to that same position with my arm right up against my body, my forearm down by my hip, and my elbow at a 90-degree angle. When I perform the kettlebell floor press, I'm finishing at a full elbow extension. That's going to be the extent of my lockout. I want to think that my shoulder blade is going to remain on the ground the entire time. So one easy way to think about that is that if I was to put both of my hands up, when I finish that floor press, I don't want one hand to be extended farther than the other. Instead, I want both hands to be nice and even with both scapulas still flat on the ground. So my shoulder blade's still flat on the ground. Another component about the kettlebell floor press is that I don't want a lot of rotation in my wrist. So as I perform the press to full extension and I return my elbow back to the ground, I want to imagine that my wrist isn't twisting around this way or that, but instead that my wrist and my forearm are staying in the same position at the bottom as they are at the top, and then as I return and pass through that press path, that position is remaining without a lot of wrist rotation. The main thing about this positioning, with the forearm down by the hip and the elbow at a 90-degree angle with my forearm perpendicular to the ground, is that the kettlebell doesn't necessarily want to be there, right? So when I'm holding that position, I'm actually using more muscles in order to keep the kettlebell in that position. It wants to flop down onto the shoulder, or flop down to the side, or flop to the inside. So the entire time that I'm maintaining that kind of strict 90-degree angle position, I'm making my arm and my entire structure stronger. The rep count that we're going to maintain is about 5 to 10 reps for the floor press, and we're just going to use a comfortable range of motion, and we're going to use a comfortable set. I might do as many as 3 to 5 rounds of that floor press on each side, and I just want to finish while I still have full control of the movement and everything still feels comfortable. Try out the kettlebell floor press, let me know what you think, and as always, the goal of our training is to always be safe and effective in every movement that we do. This is Mujib from North Country Kettlebells talking about kettlebell floor presses.